What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank, and I'm a little embarrassed that I ran out of breath halfway through that first segment. I can't seem to get up under my own power anymore. Anyways, this week it is episode 276, and this is a game that I've wanted to cover for quite a while. A game out of my own personal backlog here on RTG. It was like March or April or something. But our Patreon poll, we do one every month, and our Patreon poll that month was based on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. And it came down to a three-headed horse race between Metroid 2, Wario Land 3, and Pokemon trading card game. And it was a dogfight to the end. Metroid won. We covered that on an episode of the show. But I've always been interested in Pokemon trading card game, especially ever since that poll. So I finally fired it up on my Switch and played it over the last few weeks. And in about 3 sessions, I went from, I suck at this game, this isn't for me, to I don't care that it's your sister's birthday, I have to stay home and play this game. I fucking love the Pokemon trading card game. Holy shit. Now, I want to make this clear for all you diehards. I've been playing this game for about 3 weeks. I've never played the tabletop version. I've never held a physical Pokemon card. I'm the furthest thing from an expert when it comes to the Game Boy version. So please be gentle with your, actuallys when it comes to this one, all right? I'm a noob. I'm learning. But I really genuinely enjoyed this game. I'm always going to have a soft spot for the first generation of Pokemon, and seeing them in this strategic card combat format was fucking rad. I don't know if this is a spicy take or not. I'm going to have to let it simmer for a bit and decide if I really feel this way, but I might actually like Pokemon trading card game a little bit more than just normal Pokemon RPGs. I don't know. I gotta give it some time to see. I really like it. If you like Pokemon, if you like card games, or you just like good video games, I really recommend giving this game a shot. It's going to teach you how to play the Pokemon trading card game. It taught me, and it's really addictive. If I had played this back when it came out, I might have a giant safe full of Pokemon cards somewhere right now. As it is, for now, I think this might be the end of my Pokemon trading card game journey for the time being, but it was a great ride. I will definitely play this one again. I might look up the sequel. We get into that a little bit on the show, because my guest this week is the biggest nerd I know, my buddy Keegs. He's been playing Pokemon trading card games since it came out back in 2000, and honestly, this was just a really fun, laid-back episode of the show. When I created Remember the Game, I envisioned a retro gaming podcast that resembled the conversations we used to have as kids, just sitting around on the playground, just geeking out about the games that we liked. And I really think we captured that in this episode, so with a little bit more profanity. So whether you like or hate Pokemon trading card game, or maybe you've never played it before, I hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of hoping you'll enjoy something as much as I do, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. I recommend giving them a shot. And if you want to skip it, you can do it without having to flip a goddamn rigged I hate that fucking coin. I can't even I'm choking on my own rage here. I can't even get the words out of my mouth. That is my one criticism of this game, and I can't save it for the game chat. The coin in Pokemon trading card game is as rigged as Two-Face's coin. It is such a fucking screw job, and if that doesn't make sense, it will by the end of this episode. The point being, if you do want to skip the intro, go to about the 30-minute mark. You'll get into Pokemon talk. But I recommend giving us a chance. A chance. Let us, I was going to say shot and chance, and I went with the chat. What are we, 4 minutes? I guarantee you this is some people's first episode of the show, and we're about 5 minutes in, and it's not, tis not going well. Anyway, give it a chance. I got to get my plugs out of the way. Give me a couple minutes. This is how we keep the bills on. We have merchandise. You can check it all out at rememberthegamepodcast.com. It was all designed by my man Joe from 4545 Creative. It's pretty nice. I am proud of it. And, of course, if you don't like clothes, I get it. You could always support. I'm naked right now. You could always just support us on Patreon. It's about the greatest deal in the history of the universe. And I know every podcast plugs their Patreon. Ours is really fucking good. Our subscriptions start at just $3 a month. We have over 500 archived bonus ad-free podcasts waiting for you over there right now. And we drop 4 additional shows every week. Monday, Purple Monkey Dishwasher. Mark McHugh and I talk about The Simpsons. It's a good time. Tuesday, The Rambling Idiot. I talk about anything I want. Comedy, videos, or movies, I guess, which are videos. Fuck, what's my problem today? Sports? Whatever the fuck. The Rambling Idiot. I'm living up to the name. Every Thursday, we drop Expansion Pass, which is a different gaming show every week. We look at different characters, consoles, generations, ranking lists, modern game reviews. It's a good time. And every Friday, it's Game Patch, where I look at the biggest news in modern video games and give you my thoughts and all that kind of shit. Why am I so bad at this week? I'm lost. I've done this 276 times, and I'm lost in my notes. This past week, it was Expansion Pass 188. The topic was up to our Patreons, and the games that changed gaming won the poll. And what was wild about this episode was I actually had to drop about 15 games from the list that we were going to talk about, so the episode wasn't 3 hours long. It was crazy looking back and realizing just how big of impact some of these games have had on this hobby that we all love so much. And as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, the games that changed gaming. But when I played Metal Gear Solid, I never experienced anything like this. Like the long cutscenes and the storytelling and how dramatic it was. It really was like playing through a season of a dramatic TV show or playing through a fucking dramatic movie. And I agree with you when you argue that games like The Last of Us, God of War, Spider-Man, all these great storytelling games, I don't know where they... I mean, chances are eventually something was going to come along and tell stories like this, but it's not about what could have happened. It's about what did happen. Metal Gear Solid is like a Hall of Fame, untouchable, game-changing video game. So I agree with you, Daniel. I had Metal Gear Solid on my list as well. To this day, I can't think of many games where I finished them and I was like, holy fuck. Even though I didn't finish Metal Gear Solid back when I tried, because it's fucking... I disagree with you. The controls have held up. I think the controls... Or you said the gameplay is so much fun. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the controls drive me fucking crazy. But even just like little things, like hearing his footsteps and hearing the like approaching soldiers and looking at them on the radar and being able to hide under things and watching their feet walk by and stuff like that. So that's now available on our archives. And this week it's Expansion Pass 189. And sticking with that theme of games that changed gaming, we're going to dedicate an episode of the show to the original PlayStation, because a ton of PS1 games popped up on that games that changed gaming episode, and the PlayStation as a console itself probably changed the hobby forever as well. So it's one of the GOATs, and we haven't done a deep dive into a console in a while, so we're going to show that little gray box of awesome some love on the show this week. So that'll go live tomorrow for all of our patrons. Again, subscriptions start at $3 a month to get new shows every week, instant access to hundreds of ad-free archive bonus podcasts, plus access to the Remember the Game Discord. You get a chance to vote in our Patreon poll every month. You get the ability to submit comments to be read on our shows. You get DM with me. There's discounts available on our merchandise, and you even get a shout out. I get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to our newest patrons, Jonathan Barefoot, Bryce Hagman. I like Hagman better, Bryce. I think it's Hagman, but I'm going Hagman. Arcadiology Podcast. That's a clever name. I like that. Liam Loftus. Mediocre Bulge, I can relate to that. Burger Brat 77, Tegan's Glitch, Ryan Stemmerding, Austin Rita, Mutiny Frame and Body, Ninja Kick the Damn Rabbit, I get that reference, Eli Gonzalez, Jake Matthews, Brandon, that's fake as fuck, and Captain Superstar. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can check that out at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And finally, don't forget, you can check me out over on the old Twitch box. I'm on there whenever I have time. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame. Throw me a follow. It's free. It'll tell you when I'm on there. And you can come by and tell me why Captain Picard is better than Captain Kirk. Don't actually do that. I don't know. It's a Simpsons quote. I don't know. I don't even know which one's the bald one. That's Kirk, right? Is it Picard? No, I don't care. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, that's not blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Mr. Sparkle, who said, has Adam Sucks at Video Games officially stopped? Also, do you upload your Twitch streams anywhere besides Twitch? So if you don't know, I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/rememberthegame, and I do have a bunch of Let's Plays up over there, and it's my Adam Sucks at Video Game series. And I haven't uploaded one in quite a while now. Fuck, it's probably been almost a year since I uploaded one. To answer your question, Mr. Sparkle, I wouldn't say Adam Sucks at Video Games is dead. The problem is just it takes a very long time to do one of them and to edit it and get it up. And between 5 podcasts a week and stand-up comedy, I just don't have a lot of time left. So I'm not saying Adam Sucks at Video Games is dead. I'd like to bring it back in the new year. It's more of just a time thing than anything. I am playing through the new Super Mario RPG remake over on Twitch right now, and I've been recording all my streams. I might throw those together into a session or a video and put it up on YouTube. Also, do you upload your Twitch streams anywhere besides Twitch? Not normally, no. I might start putting more of them up on YouTube. I'm not really that good or interested in the whole video editing thing. And again, it's just a time. Like, there's only so many hours in the day, and like that's just the project that seems to fall by the wayside is the YouTube channel. But there are some pretty decent profanity-laced Let's Plays up over there, and I would like to do more of them in the new year. But and yes, to answer your question, I don't really upload most of my Twitch streams anywhere else. So there you go. Thank you for writing in. Super Jess said, blank, what's your favorite roast of coffee? I'm a UPS driver, and I deliver to an incredible local coffee shop here, and I'd love to hook you up with some delicious beans roasted in the countryside of Virginia. I'm a light roast guy myself. Cheers. If you don't know, yeah, I am a coffee fiend. I'm not a coffee snob. I want to make sure I make that. Like, I've had people that wrote in, and they're like, dude, do you have a court press or whatever the fuck it's called where you squish the beans and make that? And I'm like, no, whatever my wife buys and puts in the pantry is what I put in my coffee machine. I'm not a snob. I just really enjoy a good cup of black coffee. I drink 2 or 3 a day. I love it. My favorites probably a light or like the blonde type roast or whatever the fuck they're called. Light roast, blonde, whatever. I don't like the dark roast as much. They're a little too punchy for me, but I like the light blonde. I hope that, I don't even know if that answered the question. I don't know. I usually drink cafe coffee because that's what's in our pantry, but I like the lighter stuff as well. Thanks for writing in, Super Jess. Tommy Simps said, hey there, Mr. Blank. Now that Spotify Wrapped is out, I want to know who your top podcasts were. Thank you for being a part of my yearly wrap. Hugs and kisses. Hugs and kisses to you as well, Tommy. I actually, first of all, thank you to everyone that tagged me in those. I got tagged in a ton of those Spotify Wrapped things. I tried to show some love to everybody. I might have missed some. There was a lot of them. Humbling fucking beyond words, man. I never thought anyone would listen to this dumb show. To see myself like popping up on these lists next to some pretty big name podcasts turned me on a little bit. So thank you. I had a great night by myself. Candles on, a little bit of wine, and I just looked at all your Spotify Wraps, and then I washed the sheets. It was great. It was really nice. So thank you to everybody. To answer your question though, Tommy, I'm an old school. I'm an old boomer. I listen to my podcasts on Apple Podcasts, not on Spotify. I know I'm like the one, so I don't get a Spotify wrap up. But my favorite podcast, as I've mentioned before, is Swindled. It's a white collar crime podcast. It's absolutely my favorite podcast. I recommend it to everybody. Swindled. Love that show. I also listen to Kurt Angle's podcast. There's just too many fucking ads. Those are really the only podcasts I listen to these days with any regularity. I used to listen to gaming shows, but now that I do so many myself, usually when I walk Molly, I listen to music or audiobooks. But I love Swindled, and I do like Kurt Angle's show. So those would probably be my 1 and 2. Would probably be those 2. Oh, and Ear Hustle. I've only listened to a couple episodes. It's about a guy that's in prison, talking about life in prison. It's pretty interesting, but those are the main ones. Hagel Waffle said, hey, Mr. B, what's your take on the Koopa kids? Originally, they were Bowser's kids. So does that mean Bowser had at least one side gal out there while he's trying to woo Peach? I mean, no wonder she doesn't want to marry him. Being a stepmom to 7 is one hell of an ask. Then there's Bowser Jr. What's his deal? Did Bowser clone himself? And that's why Jr. looks like Bowser and why he's included in so many evil plans, and the non-clone children are now second fiddle? I think you might need to bring Maury back again so we can get to the bottom of this. Keep kicking ass, please. I would like to know the fucking truth of this as well, because I know, and listen, don't write in with your stories about how Nintendo has come out and explained that the Koopalings aren't Bowser's kids anymore. Go back and read the Super Mario Brothers 3 manual. I'm fucking like I'm going to Google that shit right now. I'm like 90% sure that it says right there in the manual that the Koopalings are Bowser's kids. And if that's the case, you can't, listen, my mom and dad would have done that with me a long time ago. You can't just decide I don't like my kids anymore. These aren't my kids now. That's not how it fucking works, all right? If they're your kids, they're your fucking kids. Yeah, these are Bowser's kids. Bowser himself in the Mario 3 manual has a cartoon balloon coming from him that says, ha ha ha, these are my 7 children that are going to help me take over the mushroom world. These are his kids. So my thoughts are, yes, Bowser Jr. probably is a crappy clone and he sucks and he should be killed off. I hate that kid. But I don't think Bowser had a side gal. I think that the 7 Koopalings are from Bowser's first marriage. And then things fell apart, and now he's trying to woo Peach. And whoever his former wife is has left for, like, PlayStation or something. But yes, the Koopalings are his kids, and Bowser Jr. is an abomination, and I hate him. Fuck, I hate that kid. Wasabi said, hey, Adam, as a wrestling fan, did you ever backyard wrestle? My friend and I used to be huge Hardy Boys fans, and we did the exact opposite on his trampoline of the Don't Try This at Home ad that aired after a publicity break. Our careers almost ended when my friend did a swanton bomb from his cottage to the trampoline. It made him bounce so far that he landed out, breaking his collarbone. Jesus. Yes, I did. I was a huge backyard wrestler. No joke. When I was in high school, late 90s, early 2000s, Cold Lake Championship Wrestling. My wrestling name was Blank. My finisher was the Blank Expression, which was the famouser, but I would jump up onto your shoulders and then hit you with a famouser. And trivia note, I am the last and still reigning and defending Cold Lake Championship Wrestling Canadian Heavyweight Champion. I won that title in 2001, and now it's 2023, almost 2024. So I might end up with the longest world title reign, Canadian heavyweight title reign in the history of professional wrestling. Yes, I was a big backyard wrestler back then. Good times. I love backyard wrestling. DePitzy Jr. said, Mr. Blank, what are some laid-back games you like to play on your Switch or Steam Deck when watching a football or a baseball game? That's great. I usually just play whatever I'm playing. I do like to play, if I'm working on a game for the show. I do like Tetris 99 as one of my time sinks when I just need to focus, or I don't, when I want to listen to something while I'm playing. Tetris 99 is a big one. Honestly, the Pokemon trading card game was a big one for a few weeks. I like to do Minecraft on my Steam Deck, just with Xbox Cloud Gaming. I'll do some Minecraft on there, or MLB The Show on there. That's a good time killer as well. Or I'll just go into like the Super Nintendo Online and just play like Super Mario World or Super Punch-Out, or just one of those games that I love so much. Those are probably, Slay the Spire. Fuck, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Slap myself in the face. The unofficial official game of Remember the Game. I'm really bad at this. I need another copy, but I don't have time to go make one. I got to get the show done. Slay the Spire. Rush's Dog Walker said, has the attendance of your live comedy shows increased as a result of Remember the Game? And what episode was it when you were like, I've made it. I can do this for a living? To answer your first question first, not really. Has my live comedy show audiences increased as a result of Remember the Game? Not really, because ironically, I don't do as many comedy clubs because of Remember the Game. I do private shows because I can pick and choose my shows now because of this podcast, and the private corporate shows pay exponentially better than the clubs. So I do the private shows where there is no attendance. It's just whoever works for the company. I do meet the occasional listener at when I do the clubs, or if I do a public show, and it's always just ridiculously cool and humbling when someone comes up like, yo, I love your podcast. If you're ever at one of my shows, please come up and say hi. It's so sick. I appreciate that so much. But no, plus, and I've talked about this before, I actually just talked about it on the Rambling Idiot this week quite a bit. Most of my listeners live in the US, and I'm not allowed to perform in the US because I don't have a work visa. So I wouldn't say they've really helped my comedy, but they have made it so I can pick and choose the gigs I take, which is nice. And as far as what episode was it when I was like, I've made it, I can do this for a living when it comes to the podcast, I wouldn't say there was an official episode. It was the pandemic when comedy died because we weren't allowed to go outside. I actually applied for quite a few warehouse jobs, but I had a hard time getting interviews because I'd been out of the job market for about 3 years at that point due to comedy. And so I doubled down on Remember the Game and just started going all in on it while I wasn't able to go out and do stand-up. And then by the time the pandemic was over, or whatever the fuck you want to say, and we were able to go back to work, the show had gotten so big that it took over. So I don't think there was one particular episode. Good. Thank you, though, for asking. And finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. Standard Ass Brian said, I've listened to you talk shit about Mallow for years now, and I gotta say, I don't think he does anything to earn the hate. Is he the best character? Or do I use him once I get Bowser or Peach? Absolutely not. But he still doesn't deserve so much shit talk. I feel like I need to address this because I've been playing the Mario RPG remake on stream, and everybody keeps saying, why do you hate Mallow so much? he just sucks. He's stupid looking, and he's an idiot that thinks he's a frog when he's actually a cloud or a chewed up piece of gum or whatever the fuck. His own family got rid of him. And then when he came back, everybody was still trying to pretend like he wasn't Prince Mallow because they didn't want to acknowledge that he lived there. So it's not just me. His own people dislike him. He is rendered completely useless in the game once you get a hold of Bowser and Peach because you don't really need his attack magic. And Peach's healing magic absolutely dominates anything that Mallow can do. He's always taking his pants off when he attacks, which irritates me. He cries too much, which irritates me. And I just have an irrational fear of clouds because I think they're put there by the aliens. And so Mallow is probably secretly a worker of the aliens. And I understand that that might sound stupid when you consider that Geno is from fucking outer space and I'm supportive of him. But all the other things I just said, those don't apply to Geno. His family didn't get rid of him because he sucks and didn't try to ignore him. I just hate him. So I will say he is exponentially more useful in the remake than he was in the original game, but I've never played through a full game of Mario RPG with Mallow. I have done it with Bowser and Peach is my go-to party, and I've done it with Bowser and Geno just for the lulz. I'd like to do one with Peach and Geno, but Mallow is Edward from Final Fantasy IV to me. Just utterly useless and crappy and a spoony bard. He's a spoony cloud. Fuck him. Anyway, thank you to everybody that wrote in this week. As always, we got to keep this ball rolling. So let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It is Play One, Remake One, Erase One. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, they can remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. This week we're talking a Pokemon spin-off game with Pokemon trading card game, so I went with 3 more. I have Pokemon Pinball for the Game Boy Color, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge for the Game Boy Color, and Pokemon Conquest for the Nintendo DS, I believe. And this one was close all around. The winner was to play Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, remake Pokemon Pinball, and erase Pokemon Conquest. That was 25%. 24% said play Pokemon Pinball, remake Pokemon Challenge, and then still erase Pokemon Conquest. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Davey Millie said, I'm going to play Pokemon Pinball. I had this game growing up and spent countless hours trying to catch and evolve all the Pokemon. One of my best games I had back then. I wish I still had it. I'll remake Pokemon Challenge. I always appreciate a great puzzle game. An updated port to the Switch with current graphics sounds like it'd be a good time. And I'll erase Pokemon Conquest. I've never heard of it before, so it would not be missed one way or another on my end. There's a lot of people that wrote in erasing Pokemon Conquest because they never heard of it. I've never heard of it either, but that's why I refuse to erase it. So it's interesting. Some of you are looking at it different ways than me. Captain T75 said, I haven't played any of these, but Conquest looks interesting, so I'll remake that. I'll play Pinball because there's few things as enjoyable as going to a bar and playing pinball. This game definitely ain't that, but I don't have the same affinity for puzzle games, so I'm going to erase the puzzle one. I love that. I love that you're like, because you're right. Go to a bar, having a beer, and playing a game of pinball is a good time. I love the idea of you going to the bar as a grown man and sitting in the corner and just playing Pokemon Pinball on your Game Boy while you're having a beer. I like that. I like that image quite a bit. Steamed Hams from Albany, it's an Albany expression, said, finally, one I'm partially qualified to answer. Play Pokemon Puzzle Challenge since it's essentially Gen 2 Pokemon Puzzle League in a portable format. Remake Pokemon Pinball, I think with new creative mechanics, I could see myself enjoying it. And then erase Pokemon Conquest since I'm biased, never played the original, and I am afraid of new things. I understand the fear of new things. I can get on board with that, 100%. Evan Azzo said, this is pretty easy for me. I'm going to play Pokemon Conquest because I've never played it before and I can't tell what it is just by the name and I'm curious. I'll remake Pinball because it's awesome and I'd love to see a new one with set pieces and tables from all the new games. And I'll erase Puzzle Challenge because I feel like I'd play it for 5 minutes, get bored, and throw it in the trash anyway. Them's the rules. Who the fuck throws their games in the trash after 5 minutes? Like, you trade it in or you sell it. Do you rich kids just throwing your games in the trash because you're bored of them after 5 minutes? Rich bastards. Liam Loftus? I'm going Loftus. Liam Loftus said, remake Puzzle Challenge because I'd like a puzzle game and I haven't played this one. Play Conquest because I think the dude on the box art is sexy. And erase Pinball because I don't really get pinball. I actually don't have a problem with any of that logic. This is a pretty good looking dude. on the cover of Pokemon Conquest. I'll concur with that. I'm actually going with 10% of you this week, including Amanda Hugginkiss, who said, I never played any of these before, so I'm going off mostly of just the cover art. I'll play Puzzle League, because I've at least heard of this one, and I like puzzles. I'll remake Conquest, because I don't know what's going on there, but that's a dope title, and it looks interesting. Just put it on the Switch. So I guess I have to erase Pinball, which sucks, because I like Pinball in general, but this one isn't tickling my gooch like the other two are. It's an underrated word. I go in the same order for different reason. I'm going to play Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, because I really like puzzle games, so I don't see how I wouldn't enjoy playing Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. I'm going to remake Pokemon Conquest because I looked this shit up. It is a goddamned Pokemon tactical RPG. I didn't even know this existed. I love tactical RPGs. So I'll remake it and just port it to the Switch. Maybe this is like Pokemon's Final Fantasy Tactics and just nobody's played it. And then I'm going to race Pokemon Pinball because I know it's going to upset some of you. I really don't like pinball very much. Maybe one game at the bar when I'm drunk, like we said earlier. That's it. People have been asking me for a Sonic Spinball episode of this show for years. I've tried that game a dozen times. I can't beat the first level. I fucking hate pinball. So I'm not doing it. Fuck you. That's it. Thank you, everyone that wrote in. We're going to pause here. We'll get a quick word in from our sponsor. Then I'll tell you what I've been playing, and we'll get into the Pokemon trading card game talk. All right? We will be right back. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, work sucks, I know. And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention. But when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. All right, so despite the fact that this is kind of the busiest time of the year for me when it comes to comedy, I'm actually playing a lot of video games right now. I'm playing Super Mario RPG Remake, playing through the whole game on Twitch. We're at the end right now, should be dead soon. I've been playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor as my last 2023 game that I want to sneak in before we do the blankies in January and decide our real game of the year. I've been playing Star Wars Shadows of the Empire on my Nintendo 64 to get ready for quite possibly, probably, next week's episode of Remember the Game. It's awesome. It's hard as fuck, but it's awesome. And then I've actually been playing a little bit of EA Sports PGA Tour and MLB The Show 23. Just after my gigs, I get home and I smoke a little bit of pot and I just need to unwind. I've been playing those two. So lots of games going on here. Let's talk Pokemon trading card game. That's why you're here. As always, I like to let some of you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. There were a lot of comments this week praising this game, so let's suck some trading card game wank right here. Wank? Wanker? Whatever. Wang. Man. I seriously only had one cup of coffee this morning, and I'm feeling it. I suck at this. The Angry New Yorker said, I fucking love this game, and I can't for the life of me understand why Game Freak has never made another one. So Keegs and I get into that a little bit on the show. A lot of you have written into me. I know there is a sequel to this one, and a lot of people say it's better. It never got released in like English. There's like fan translated versions of it out there. I might fire them up at some point, but I agree with you, but Keegs and I get into it on the show, and I think by the end of the episode, we both agree that like, I think the reason we're not getting more of these offline or single player ones now is because they're like the live service games where they can sell you actual packs are the future, unfortunately, because I would love more games like this as well. Dollars to Donuts said this game gets a replay from me every year or so. It's so addictive, and the soundtrack is underrated. I think this is the best soundtrack on the Game Boy. I'll straight up, best soundtrack on the Game Boy. Candido said, when I was a kid, I asked for Pokemon Blue for Christmas because my sister had Pokemon Red and I wanted my own game. Instead, my parents got me the trading card game, and I was so disappointed at first. But once I started playing it, I really got into it and soon found my sister was fighting me to share it. At the time, too, it really helped my child brain to understand how to play card games, so eventually I was able to play physical card games with the other kids and feel confident that I could kick ass. This would be a great introduction to them. Like, I'm not kidding. This came out when I was in grade 11. If this had come out when I was in elementary school, I would have been obsessed with this game. And it is a great introduction to card games. I agree. Goatmaster said, dude, I played so many card games back in the day, and this game helped scratch the itch when I had no one to play with. The second one is better, but it never came here in North America. Officially. Wink, wink. I am going to have to look this one up eventually. And Jono Mac G said, Yono Mac G? Yono Mac G said, love this game as a kid. Took elements of the traditional Game Boy Pokemon games and incorporated the trading card game aspects. As a kid who didn't have the money for buying cards but wanted to open packs, this was a nice way to get the experience of chasing rare cards without spending tons of money. The music is also a highlight. Dude, I gotta say, I've never been like super into opening these packs, and like, it's pretty exciting in this game. Every time you win a fight, you get some new packs to flip through. You get a new card. When I got my Alakazam, I lost my mind. That was fucking sick. So I get it. And you're right. You didn't have to buy a bunch of packs. Let's talk about it. I'm so excited to be covering this game. My God. This is my surprise game of 2023. I did not expect to love this game half as much as I did. Let's talk about it. I'm going to cue up some of that phenomenal music we've been talking about. And when it stops, my buddy Keegs and I are going to talk the Pokemon trading card game, which originally released on the Game Boy Color in North America on April 10th of the year 2000. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, joining me via the blank phone this week to talk PTCG, which, as the kids these days, that's how they refer to the Pokemon trading card game, I believe, is the PTCG. So joining me to talk to the PTCG is the KEEGS. Yeah, that works. It's Keegs. Keegs is talking Pokemon with me. In my head, that sounded so much better.
Did it really, though?
A little bit. It was mostly just letters. It was like a bowl of alphabets in my head, but I like alphabets, so I thought we were going to be okay. We're talking the Pokemon trading card game. Keegs, it's been a while, buddy. How are you? How's life?
I'm all right. You know,
good.
It's cold.
Yep. It's going to get worse.
It's not as cold as it should be by now.
Yeah.
Like,
enjoy it. It's going to get worse. Yeah. And when it gets cold, it's an excuse to sit inside and play the Pokemon trading card game.
Exactly.
Which
I know.
And listen, I'm going to get into your. Yeah, I want to pick your brain because I know you're like an OG. You've been playing this for a while, and I want to talk to you about that. But
I've been playing this since it came out.
Yeah, like I have to say, I've been playing this game for 2 weeks. I started this 2 weeks ago on my Switch. And do you remember a few months ago we did the Game Boy Patreon poll, and it came down to Metroid 2, this, and I think Super Mario Land 3 Wario, I think the Wario game. I think.
I think it was Solomon's Club.
I don't remember. Doesn't matter. The
Nah,
final
I'm pretty sure
two.
it was Solomon's Club.
I don't.
The
Was it?
game, you should play it.
I've never. You're lying. I've never even heard of that fucking game. That wasn't on the poll at all. Is that Solomon's Key, but on Game Boy?
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
That was my other jam.
Oh Jesus Christ! Well, at least you had. I can't say it's not good. I don't. I like Solomon's Key.
That was
So
my
maybe-
puzzle game. You had Tetris. I had Solomon's Club.
Fuck. Wow. Maybe it's good. I gotta play. I'll play it eventually.
It
like
is.
Solomon.
Yeah,
I'll play
it's fun. It's really fun.
But I remember when that poll was happening and Metroid 2 ended up winning and I played it and it was okay. I liked it enough. It was okay. But I know there was like a big chunk of the community that was really pulling for Pokemon trading card game. And so I fired it up a couple weeks ago because I had some time to kill. I saw it on the Nintendo Switch Online and I was like, you know what? I didn't even tell anybody I was playing it to start. I was like, let me see if I like it. And then if I like it, then we'll cover it on the show. And you do that first fight, which is like the tutorial one where you can't even pick your own options. He just tells you what to do. You can't lose. And I won that fight. And I'm like, there we go. Then you can just fight him by regular rules. And he beat me like 3 straight times. And I was like, I don't know if I like this game. I'm not very good at this. But then I beat him. And I was like, well, this isn't bad. Let me go on. And then this game took over my life for like 10 days. And I have to say, Keegs, maybe this is a hot take. I'm curious to know because I want to know your experience with the game. We're gonna get there. I'm curious what you think. I can just hear some of the angry letters coming now.
Click at the keyboards. They're ready.
I know they are. I might. I haven't decided yet. I might like this game more than Pokemon.
You know,
than like actual Pokemon.
That's not that hot of a take.
Is it? I don't know.
Pokemon seems to be pretty fucking divisive on the internet these days, like more than it usually is. Like ever since I started going on like message boards and stuff in like the early 2000s, like there's always just been, hey, new Pokemon, a whole bunch of people just shit on it, and then it sells a bajillion copies.
Oh, they sell. Fuck, they sell. Oh my God.
I think, like, and especially with the popularity of the card game and just like old stuff too, I think if you like this more than regular Pokemon, that's not a hot take.
All right, good. Because I'm not sure. I'm not like,
it's not a cold take, but
Sure.
it's not a hot take. It's like
a lukewarm,
a little
take.
warm. Yeah.
I'm not committed. I wouldn't say I'm committed to that take yet, but I just like, I don't know. I like Pokemon. I like the idea of like you catch. I do think Pokemon's a little fucked up. You catch these animals, they live in balls, and they only allowed out to cockfight. Like I think that's a little bit fucked up. But I like the Pokemon games by and large. But this one, I was like, I don't have to grind. I don't have to fucking manage my team and like rotate out like 6 people or 6 Pokemon and make sure everyone's leveled up and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not walking around in the grass because I have a grass allergy looking for fucking Pokemon, fighting the same 3 Pidgeys or the same 8 Zubats in caves over and over again. It eliminated a lot of the stuff I don't like about traditional Pokemon and put it all into neat little cards. And I fucking love this game. It's so much fun, buddy.
Yeah, man. It's like it's also like this cool little pocket of time of just Pokemon and the card game itself, because like the card game as it is today is absolutely like nothing like how the original one plays. Like there's some similarities, like it's the basic structure is mostly the same,
right?
But like just the way you construct decks and everything these days, it's a lot more like combo heavy,
right?
Than it is just people playing Pokemon and smashing them into each other like this game is.
And my understanding is like, because for the record, and we're gonna get into like I want to know about your history of this in like in 20 seconds, but just because I know people are gonna write in about it, like I know nothing of how this game works in real life. I know nothing of modern versions. Literally, outside of I know there's a really expensive Charizard card. Like outside of that,
there's a few.
Okay, so I only kind of know that, and outside of that, literally everything I know of the Pokemon trading card game is from this Game Boy Color version of it. I know as far as I know, in future iterations they've added more types and it gets a lot deeper. Like I don't know anything about it other than this. So you said you're like an OG. So let me ask you, like, how did you're a little bit younger than me, but I assume you were playing Pokemon Red Blue back in the day. Were you playing this alongside them?
Yeah. I jump back and forth between both of them quite a bit. Like this game specifically, I shared with my brother. So like we would just kind of like take turns. Like he would play it for a while, and I'd play something else like Solomon's Club or regular Pokemon,
Sure.
and then we'd swap over because you can have multiple decks. So we just
Hmm.
that deck is my deck, that deck is your deck. Like we even mashed our names together for our character's name,
Nice.
and like that was just our game we played together because we also had the real card game, but when it first came out, the street we lived on had a whole bunch of old people living on it, and cards weren't allowed in school, so we didn't really get to
Ah,
play the card game with people. So this was just us getting to play it outside of just playing against each other over and over again.
I get it. Yeah, I remember that. I remember this not being allowed in school. I remember Pogs not being allowed in school too,
Yeah.
because there were too many fights over the Pogs. So kids would
Yeah,
like
I was on the
literally,
tail end of Pogs in schools getting
yeah,
and
kids would
then
literally like get out of school and go down the street, like play on the sidewalk just down the street from the school, and be like,
yeah,
"Fuck you, you can't touch us now. We play all the
yeah,
Pogs we want."
s-
So,
yeah, that's
so
what
then,
happens every time. And yeah, it was
yeah.
the same. They banned Pokemon cards, uh, and what else? Like Digimon, the Digivices got banned.
Oh, like those little
Like
creatures you'd have.
yeah, like the
I
little
remember those.
Tamagotchi style one.
Yes.
Yeah, because like you had to sit there and shake it, and like kids would be fucking sitting there shaking it in class. It looks like they're jerking off at their
Yeah,
desk,
yeah.
but and it's just like click 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 as the
Fuck.
pedometer goes up, and it's
The
like yeah. So my school banned those. Like
different times. I wonder what's banned in school now. I wonder what they've banned now.
books.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, they're like, yeah, gamble all you want on Pokemon cards, but you're not reading these fucking books, you little bastards. Well done, sir.
That's all I'm
Um,
saying about that.
yeah, me too. We're done.
Yeah.
This show is too political.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so if you've been playing both a long time, because that's why I'm hesitant to say that I like Pokemon trading card game definitively better than like I've always loved Pokemon Red and Blue, and then I finally played what was Gen 2, Gold, Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally played those for the show a couple years ago, and I think I had to concede that those are now my favorite
Yeah.
Pokemon games, are Gold and Silver. I love those games. I still love Red and Blue as well.
Yeah.
This one's still
100%.
like, this is still fresh on my tongue, so I'm like, I need to let it simmer for a while before I decide. But I really like it. If you're OG, what do you like better, traditional Pokemon or the PTCG as we say?
Uh, I like this better than traditional Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, I've played every generation of Pokemon, but I prefer everything, like mechanics wise, from Generation 4 onward, which is Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum,
Okay.
along with the Gold and Silver remakes.
Yeah.
That's where they did the whole split with physical and special and all that, and like typings.
Okay.
If you're familiar.
A little bit. I have
Yeah,
played some
like
of the
that
modern
that's the
ones.
generation of when that happened. Like, so
Okay.
before, like, water attacks are always special, rock attacks are always physical. Now you can
Right.
have physical and special of every
That
type.
yeah.
Yeah, like
So
that.
sorry.
Like,
So you like it better when they started doing that or less?
yeah, I liked it better
Oh, okay. All
because
right.
it stuff made more sense that way. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game, just as they worked out that part of the mechanics, I like that crunchy part of it
Sure.
better.
Yeah.
The way Pokemon is these days, it's fun, but like it doesn't stay with me like some of the older generations did.
I
Like I
wonder
don't remember as many of the new Pokemon.
I
Like
feel that
I
way
don't really
too.
remember gym leaders.
Yeah. But I wonder genuine because I feel that way too. Like I played the last Pokemon modern, like the most modern Pokemon that I've played is either Sword Shield or Legends. And
Mm.
I really liked Sword and Shield. I didn't hate Legends, but I didn't love it. But yeah, they didn't stick with me as well either, as much as like Red Blue. But I wonder how much of that is like they're not as good or not hitting as, and I wonder how much of it is just when you're a kid, it just hits
Yeah,
harder,
I think it's
especially
definitely like a nostalgia thing. Like nostalgia is a
yeah,
very powerful thing,
and
and
like
like your brain's more of a sponge when you're a kid, right?
I
Like
think so too.
I was what, like 8 when Pokemon came out,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
this game came out when I was 10, right? Like that's like right smack in them formative years.
and like I'm sure it's still like that because Pokemon is so big, but like anyone that wasn't around in like the second half of the 90s when Pokemania fucking hit, like it was
Yeah, when
it
it's
was everywhere,
yeah,
buddy.
like I vaguely remember like pre-Pokemania.
Yeah, like
Like
it was I never it was like it was, you know what it was for you younger listeners? It was like what Pokemon Go was. Like when Pokemon Go first dropped and the entire planet was playing it, that was what
yeah.
that was Pokemon to all of us in like the late 90s. It was fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So,
when that happened for all of us, we're just like, "Oh, cool, it's happening again."
again, yeah, exactly. So, okay, so just quickly to set the table, if you've never played Pokemon trading card game, and again, I'm gonna make this abundantly clear, I am speaking only to the Game Boy Color version. I've never played it on a tabletop or anything. Like it obviously you collect Pokemon cards, you collect digital versions of the Pokemon cards, and it's a little bit like the other Pokemon games in the sense of you control this kid who like sets out to become this like master. You're trying to get all the legendary cards and all this. You're trying to inherit the legendary cards, and you basically go around to 8 themed gyms and fight gym leaders that have decks of cards set to like grass or psychic or fighting or whatever. And a lot of the basic Pokemon from Gen 1 are in here. This was just Gen 1, which is another reason I loved it so much. Not all of them though, and there's a couple of minor changes. Obviously, the combat, which we'll get into. I don't believe are they all in it? I don't think they all are. Are they? They
Yeah.
might be. There's
Yeah.
200 some cards.
Yeah, there's Wikipedia is telling me 226 cards.
Yeah, so I
And
guess
so there's a couple versions of different Pokemon, and then you
Yep.
have like the energies and
Yeah,
the trainers.
I would
So
guess
I'm pretty
151.
sure every single card is in here.
Yeah, I bet you they probably are. So I better backtrack. And like, I know I'm going to get messages if I say anything wrong. So I'm doing my best to get it right. Like when I say 151, Mew is in here. Like you get them all.
Yep.
And you basically build a deck. You have to build a 60 card deck, and your deck contains of Pokemon, energy cards, which Pokemon use to perform moves, item cards like potions and revives and stuff like that. And you just go around and battle each other. And then the first person to basically when you start a battle, you decide how many prizes you're playing for, and it like so say it's a 4 prize battle, you and whoever you're playing against in the game. Then you each draw 4 cards out of your deck and put them face down. Then you take a hand of seven, I believe, 7 cards, and the matchup starts against each other. And whoever the first player to either every time you knock out one of your opponent's Pokemon, you get to flip over one of your prize cards and add it to your hand. So the first player to collect all of their prize cards wins, or if one player runs out of cards, they lose, or if one player doesn't have any playable Pokemon, then which I got fucked by a couple of times. We'll get there. I got
yeah.
fucked.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fuck
Don't.
you.
That's my only big criticism with the game.
Is the
One
getting
of them
fucked?
is getting Pokemon starved.
Yeah. Oh god.
Losing on turn 2.
Yeah, and we'll get there. But
That's part of that. That's part of the balancing issue.
Yeah, it is.
I was talking about.
But that's the basic gist of the game. And like Keegs said, you can build up to 4 decks in the game, each of 60 cards. You can't use the same card in multiple decks. It's trying to make
That part
you like
bugs me too. But
it bothers
me. I kind of understand why, because it's trying to emulate real life.
Exactly.
Like if you have 4 copies of a card, but it's like it's a fucking video game, man. Like let me just put the same card in all my decks.
Like what's frustrating
without having to rebuild them every time. Like because maybe you're trying to try a couple different brews, and instead of swapping cards in and out, you want to just try 2 versions of a deck so you can see which direction you want to take it.
Like so then as you play the game, you get handed you win packs of cards throughout the game that you open, and you get random cards. And the object of the game is to defeat the 8 gyms and then go defeat the 4 grandmasters or whatever the fuck they're called, and then you get the legendary cards. But the other thing in the game is there's 226 cards, and it got to collect them all instead of got to catch them all. You want to get all the cards, and they're random opening these packs. But you're right. Like I have 4 decks, and I would set my decks based on like types. Like I had a grass and water deck. I had like a fighting and psychic deck, stuff like that. But I remember like I drew one card that was a double plain energy, which we'll explain more in a minute. So it makes sense. And it was the first one by the time I was done the game, I think I had like 5 of them, but it was my first one. And so I added that to the deck because I was like, that's a pretty handy card. But then when I had to use a different deck, I wanted to add it to my other deck. And then I realized like, I can't just add it to the deck. I have to go into the
Yeah.
first deck that it's in, take it out, add some other card to the deck. That's
Yeah,
what
because it
bothered
won't
me.
let you leave the screen at all if it's not
Exactly.
exactly 60. You can't just leave it as like an unusable deck. You're stuck in
Yeah.
the screen. Oh yeah.
And that's what pissed me off.
Ugh.
I can live
I
to an
think it's a
extent.
product of its time though. Is
Yeah,
just like the
well,
deck building interface. I think that's just clunky 90s video
I
games.
I guess so, but like I have less of a beef with the fact that I can't use the same card in 2 decks because at least I understand from a semantics standpoint why you can't have this card in 2 decks. But it's like
Mm.
if I was physically playing this game myself, if I had a box full of these cards and I was going around the world fighting people with my cards, and I was like, oh shit, I really want to use my fighting and psychic deck against this guy. I'm gonna pull my double plain energy deck card out of my fire deck and put it in my fighting psychic deck. That box of cards isn't going to be like, hey, you can't close us till you put a 60th card in this deck. That's where I was getting irritated because I'd
Yeah.
pull shit out to top up the deck I need. Then I would just throw random crap into the deck I wasn't using for that time to be able to close it. But then when I needed that deck again, I had to go back and be like, now what cards did I throw in this that I want out so that I can put the ones, that was where I got a little
Yeah.
minor irritation. But
Yeah, my major irritation for me, but also like filling up decks with just random cards is also like a trick that you can do in the game to get a shitload of energy early on.
oh, is that right? I
Because
didn't know
like
that.
that's I don't know if that's an issue you ran into as well in your early deck building stuff, is you don't have the energy cards to make a bunch of different decks.
I never, yeah, I mean, I
Especially if
did
you want to move out of like the types that you started with.
that. Yes. Like I
Like
did.
full send out of those types, you're gonna struggle with energy a bit. So you can
Yeah.
just load up a deck with all your energies, and then there's an NPC you can talk to somewhere, and he's just like, "Oh, you don't have any energy cards. Here's a bunch," and he gives you just like a shitload of
Oh shit.
each energy type, except for the double colorless.
No,
But
I never
any of the
found
basic ones.
I never found that, but I
Yeah,
went
because he
because
doesn't tell you he'll do that for you. You just have to have no
right.
energy in your collection. But if it's in your deck, it's not in your collection.
Oh no, I never ran into any major problems with that. But like at the very beginning of the game, when you go into the first lab where they let you pick a deck of cards, like instead of
Mhm.
picking a grass, fire, water Pokemon, you get to pick a Bulbasaur deck, a Charmander deck, or a Squirtle deck. And I went Bulbasaur because I'm a Bulbasaur guy, and
Yep.
I think
You're
I
wrong,
think
but okay.
fuck you it is. I think I won. I think I got 3 badges before I really needed another deck.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because
I
I
think
combined.
all three of the decks can pretty well take out 3 gyms without
Yeah.
much
So
change.
so by the time I really did need another deck, I had enough energy that I was like, I'm
Okay.
okay now. So so we'll explain. So if you've never played it, basically like when you have your hand, and again, if I'm wrong, Keegs, tell me. But like, there's
Yeah.
basically 3 types of cards you can have, and one is a Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
one is an energy card, and then one is
Mm-hmm.
like an
Trainer.
item card,
Yeah.
basically.
Trainer cards.
Yeah,
Just
and
like
so
the items and trainers.
right, yes, and those are basically, like I said, your potions, your revives. You can get like a Professor
Professor
Oak
Oak.
card
Yeah.
where you scrap your hand and draw a new hand, stuff like that. The Pokemon cards, as I'm sure you can imagine, are your Pokemon. And then for the Pokemon to attack, they have like, just for argument's sake, and I don't even know if I'm using this correctly. Like I'm just for argument's sake, if you want to use an Abra's attack, it has 1 attack and it needs 1 psychic energy to be able to do that attack. So the third types of cards in your hand are energy cards. And the energy cards can be like the different types from the game, which are grass, water, fire, electric, psychic, fighting, or normal.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you got all of them.
I think I got them all. Yeah, in Gen 1, that's all there is. And so,
Yeah.
like, if you want to use an Abra, you have to play the Abra, like, down on the table, and you set the Abra down, and you're like, I've used that Pokemon now. But the Abra is literally useless until you take 1 psychic energy card out of your hand and attach it to the Abra. And then if you end up leveling the Abra up, if you evolve it into a Kadabra, now it might need 3 psychic energy to do a more powerful attack. You need to attach those energy cards to it. And those are the basic 3 types of cards. And so then when you build your 60 card deck, it becomes quite the balancing act between like how many Pokemon do I want to take? Because you need to, again, if at any time you run out of, outside of the very beginning of the game, you draw 7 cards, and if you don't draw a starting Pokemon, you get to redraw your hand. Like you have to have 1 to start. After that, if
One.
you don't,
One to start.
yeah, and then you can keep up to 5 in like on like your in your bullpen, like ready to
Yeah.
go.
In
And
your bench, it's called.
yes. Yeah, and if you're like if I play that Abra against Keegs and I don't draw any other starting Pokemon and Abra knocks out my Keegs, which is or if Keegs knocks out my Abra, excuse me, which is very easy to do. I love Abra, but that
Yeah.
thing's a pussy.
Yeah.
If I don't have any other Pokemon on the bench, I'm out of the game. I lose. Doesn't matter if you only got one of your special cards. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like one of your prizes. So that becomes the and I'm interested to know. I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm just trying to set the tone for the game for anyone that hasn't played it yet. And then I'm going to kick it over to you because I want to hear your strategies on this. This is where it becomes tricky. You have to build a 60 card deck. So you need to have enough Pokemon in your deck that you always have Pokemon to play. You want to have evolved version of the Pokemon like a Kadabra or an Alakazam because they're more powerful, but you can't play them until you've put an Abra down. So you
that's the other thing you didn't mention with the evolving your Pokemon. You can't play a stage 1 or a stage 2. So like your Kadabra or your Alakazam, you can't just play them. It has to evolve from an Abra. There is certain cards that will let you just play it.
Yeah.
Or like there's cards that'll let you like skip an evolution stage, but out of the gate you can't just play them.
Right. So that becomes even more of the balancing act because you only have 60 cards. And so you're like, fuck, if I only take one Abra, one Kadabra, and one Alakazam, I can have, and it happened to me, I can have the Kadabra and the Alakazam sitting in my hand ready to go. But until that Abra shows up, they're useless. They are dead they are dead cards until my fucking Abra shows up. So you need to have enough Pokemon to stay alive during this battle. But you also need to bring enough energy to power up the Pokemon you're carrying. And keep in mind that like you can attach, say, a grass energy card to an Abra, but some Pokemon need specific energy types to do their attacks. Some Pokemon it'll be like you need one psychic and then one anything. So you need to have enough energy to make your attacks work, but you also have to have enough Pokemon to work. But then you also really should bring a few of those trainer cards for potions and looking for energies, or you can get a Pokeball card where you can try to draw another Pokemon out of your hand. And it really becomes, and I found that to be really my favorite part of the game. And I didn't think it would be because I don't particularly like deck builders. I love Slay the Spire, but what I love about Slay the Spire is that my deck starts from scratch every time.
Yeah.
Like the reason I tapped out on Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone once I started playing them was because I didn't have the patience to balance my decks and go in there and fine tune. But that was what I liked about this one. So I'm sorry, I'm done talking now.
Those are kind of sorry to cut you off before you're about to apologize for talking too long.
Yeah, I was. But no, go ahead.
But yeah, like that's what I like about it being a video game too, as opposed to like the card game, because the card game is perpetual, right? Like you're playing the card game for as long as you want to be playing the card game and collecting it for as long as you want to. Like I only just got into Magic the Gathering in 2018, but I've been playing mostly on since, and it's a lot to keep up with, plus everything that came out before. Whereas with this game, you don't got to worry about anything that came out before the game or after the game because it's not in the fucking game.
Exactly.
You just get to play your game. So
this is, and I think that's what hooked me with this one was you're right. Like, and like people have asked me, are you going to start playing the game in real life now? And I'm like, I don't think so. Partially because I've seen how much some of these fucking cards are worth. I don't have that kind of money. And partially because now there's like, I don't even know how many different kinds there are now and everything. That was one of the things that really spoke to me about this game was I was like, this is just Gen 1. I know every single one of these Pokemon. Like I'm comfortable here. And this is my safe space. So I agree with you. I think that's part of what clicked for me. I want to know your strategy because you're better at this game than I am, I assure you. When Keegs is building a deck, not your starter deck, but you're working on a deck now, what's your game plan here?
Okay, so well, I start with Charmander because obviously
because you're a freak. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, because I'm a freak, but also because fire's the best.
Oh.
But yeah, so then like I just it depends how I'm feeling like that time I'm going to play through. Like sometimes I'll just go to the computer and I'll save scum because like the professor, he'll send you an email every time you go to a new club about what kind of cards the gym leader, the club master is going to play. Just like a little tip on, hey, here's what you're going to run into with the boss. And then he'll give you a pack of cards. You can reset your game over and over again till you get the rare card that you want from the pack. And so I would do that to get the specific cards. Otherwise, like I'd have a couple decks that I would play with. Like usually I would just take Charmander, whatever other Pokemon I'm feeling, just swap him in and out. Like I would just use one deck and just swap in and out typings as I needed them
Wait,
as I
wait,
went
wait, wait,
around the
wait, wait, wait.
gyms.
So you didn't use, because you can build 4 decks in this game. It's like you have 4 different spots in your backpack for as long as you have enough cards to
Yeah.
fill the deck. Like you can't, again, like we said, you can't use Charmander, the same Charmander card in 2 decks. You have to have 2 separate ones. You didn't use the 4 slots. You just rolled 1 deck and just tweaked it?
Not right away. Like for the
Okay.
first handful of gyms, I just used the one and tweaked them.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
And
to
like
start.
same thing, like I said, I played this game a bunch, so it just depends how I feel like doing the playthrough. So like sometimes I said I'll just grind out my best deck that I like building and then just like cruise through the game because I want to just enjoy the experience of playing the game, or I'll just like fight it through like you're supposed to. But
Right.
yeah, I go super weird and just do one deck, swapping stuff in and out,
Okay.
and then once I've beaten about 4, I think, then I'll usually just like make a couple different
Yeah.
actual decks. Like I said, I always have no energy at the start unless I do that little trick to get a
Okay.
whole bunch. So
Like, so one of the things and if you've never played it, like this is on Nintendo Switch Online. That's where I played it on the Game Boy. Like I genuinely really, if you like Pokemon, if you don't like Pokemon, I don't see anyone getting a lot out of this game. But if you like Pokemon, I recommend. It's really fun.
even if you just like card games, if you like
Yeah,
either
agreed.
card games or
Yeah.
Pokemon, it's just a fantastic short little game. Like it
And
only takes what 10 hours or so.
yeah, I beat it in about 10 hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like, and
and
that's
it,
no experience playing the card game.
yeah,
Like, and you
that
did
was
it in
one of the
10
things.
hours.
Yeah, that was one of the things I had written down to bring up was like if you've never played the Pokemon card game, this is I like it. I mean I assume that if I was to walk into like a fucking game club thing here in Edmonton and try to play it against like actual people, I would get dominated. But at least I
Yes,
know that
very
like this will
fast.
teach you all the rules to the game.
Yep.
Like this will teach you how to play it. And it's
Mhm.
really not, there's a lot of depth to it, but on its surface and how to learn it, it's not a very complicated game.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is what I think
it's
is
another
brilliant
one of
about it.
those easy to pick up, difficult to master.
100%.
But like this one's not difficult to master. The
No.
game as a whole is, but this specific like pocket of the Pokemon card game, like there's definitely a bunch of strategy to it, but like it's easily attainable to get good at this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what we're gonna do. We're already at half an hour. I still want to talk about the different types of Pokemon. I want to talk about the one major gripe I have with the gameplay. I want to talk about some of our favorite cards and all that. We'll do all that. Let's pause now. I need a sip of my beer anyway, so let's pause now.
Okay.
We'll let a sponsor come in and hopefully say something, and then we'll be right back and we'll get into the nitty gritty of the PTCG. Okay, so we were saying, so we've explained the very basics of how the game works. One thing that I had a major time adjusting to, and I don't think it'd be quite as bad if you played it in person. Like, it's not even, I'm not criticizing the game. I'm not going to take any points off of it. But one drawback to playing this on the Game Boy is if I was sitting at a table with you, Keegs, and you and I were playing this game at any given moment, I can lean over and read each card and read what each card's attacks do and stuff. In this game, every time, and I don't know the cards very well. So literally every second turn, I'm clicking the check option, going into half the cards that are on the table, both mine and my opponent's Pokemon, reading what their abilities are, reading what they're weak against. Again, not a huge, I'm not going to knock it because there's literally no option on Game Boy. That's the only choice.
Yeah.
But it is a pain in the ass to go in and out of those menus so much.
Yeah. Reading the cards is definitely clunky, but it's a gripe for me, but I'm also like understand that it is the Game Boy Color.
There
like,
was
it's
no
got
other
a
option.
D-pad and 2 buttons.
Yeah,
like,
there was no other option.
Yeah.
And it's important to read
for
it
because for it being a Game Boy, like it packs a bunch of information.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like you go and examine a card, you learn every fucking thing you ever would want to know about that card.
And
like I think it has like the real like copyright and artist information of like the paper version of that card.
Yeah. And it's
because like the cards from the game are all have a paper copy.
Yeah,
like,
and
they're all real cards that existed in paper, except for like one or two special cards, I think.
And they're very there's a lot of information on them, but they're very easy to read. Like on
Mhm.
your turn, you can look at your hand, you can attack with your Pokemon, you can check, which is basically look at the table, and then you can click on any Pokemon on the table, yours or your opponents that are on, not if they're in your hand, but once, because that's the thing is when you bench a Pokemon. So if I've got Magikarp, I love my little Magikarp. If I have my Magikarp out there fighting, and I have a Pikachu and a Hitmonchan benched, they're face up. Like my opponent can see if they're in my hand, they're not face up. You don't know I'm holding them. But if you knock out my Magikarp, I can't then be like, oh wait, I have a Hitmonchan in my pocket and I'm not dead. Like, no, I'm dead. You need to have them on the table. And once they're
Mhm.
on the table, they're easy to read. Even in this game, the only nuisance is you have to click them individually to read them. But like
Yeah.
Keeg said, everything is right there. And it's so well laid out. And it's so the only thing that I struggled with that kind of stuff is that they eliminated like half the like there's no bug type, there's no dragon
Yeah.
type,
Yeah. A
and
lot of everything got rolled into other types
yeah,
to
and
simplify it.
Pokemon never have more than one weakness. So like, when you're playing
Mhm.
if you're playing Pokemon Red and you have a Geodude, you know that grass and water will fuck you up. In this game,
And fighting.
Geodude is not a rock Pokemon because rock's not a type. Geodude, I believe, is a fighting Pokemon,
Yeah.
and it's not weak against water. I think
I think
grass.
water. Yeah. I think it's weak to grass
No. Isn't
and
fighting
resistant
weak
to
against
electricity.
psychic?
Psychic type
Some.
or like fighting types that are fighting types are rock
Right.
types that are fighting types are weak to generally water or grass still. Like
Thank
their
you.
weaknesses will still be what like the Pokemon's actual weakness would be, like closer to it, like within the
Yes.
confinements of the
Th-
game.
yes.
But the typings of what the Pokemon are definitely
And
got
and
condensed
yeah.
a lot.
And that was what fucked with me. It was like my opponent would put out a Geodude and I have again, let's just say a Magikarp out there. And I'm thinking like, oh fucking A, like Magikarp, because the thing about this game is like your attacks don't vary by type. Like it's not like a Magikarp uses I'm just pulling basic attacks out of my ass here.
Mm,
A Magikarp uses tackle. Tackle is not a normal attack, and there's like whatever type your Pokemon is, like in a Magikarp, for example, is a water Pokemon. Every attack the Magikarp does has water on it. Doesn't
yeah,
matter if it's a water attack or not.
yeah,
And so I'm up against Geodude, who has been made a fighting type in this game because rock doesn't exist. I'm thinking Geodude's weak against water. I'm using my Magikarp, and it's not doing extra damage. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I realize, like, oh wait, because they made it a fighting type. But you're right, it's a fighting type that's weak against grass, like a rock would be. And
yeah.
again, if it's all right there on the table and you can see it clear as day, it's easy. But I would recommend, if you've never
Mm,
played this game, don't let this scare you off. But just know that, especially in the first few hours, you're going to be checking a lot of cards to just be like, don't bank on your muscle memory.
yeah. But
Like
the information's all in the game too.
it's all
Like
right
like
there.
you said at the start, like you go through a tutorial battle with what's his face, and it's not very long. You only go through a few turns, but you
Yeah,
cover every card type. You cover evolving, like you cover every basic thing you're going to do
yeah,
in the game. There's definitely certain strategies you have to figure out on your own, but it teaches you how to play the game. And then if that's not enough, you can talk to Professor Mason, and he will just like list everything. Like he'll give you a list of things you can ask about,
yeah,
and you can click each one and then just read about it too if you're not quite getting it from playing. Like
yeah,
you can just read all the information in the game. Like
yeah, yeah. It took
it's
me about
completely self-contained. If you know nothing about Pokemon or the card game, like you did, you can just go in and learn it all within the
yeah,
game.
and it's
Like it's
very
fantastic like that.
very user friendly. Like I say, the only thing that fucked with me was that classic muscle memory of knowing types and then having to adjust on the fly to the
Mm,
different types, because some Pokemon will have either a weakness or a resistance. They don't all have it, but some do. And if they're and what I really like about this game too is that your HP is just in even numbers of 10. So like if a
yeah,
Pokemon has 50 health, they basically have 5 damage counters, and you can only do damage in increments of 10. And so it's
yeah,
really easy to keep track of the damage. What's cool is if a Pokemon is weak against an attack, it'll do double damage. So if I have a you have like Keegs has a Charmander, and I'm using my Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is weak against fire. If Keegs attacks with his Charmander, even if it's not like by playing the game a fire attack, because Charmander is fire
Scratch.
type,
One
scratch.
colorless energy, scratch, 10 damage.
It's gonna do fire damage because
Yeah.
everything they boil it down to keep it simple. So whenever you attack with somebody else's weakness, you do double damage. Whenever you hit them with something that they're resistant against, for example, if I try to use if I try to use grass against
Electricity
yeah
against you,
there,
dude.
if you try to
Okay.
use something that someone's resistant against, the first 30 damage you do is blocked. And I will say
I
one
believe that was
problem
standard back then, and then I think sometimes resistance can change now, but back then I remember it being pretty well just blocks 30 damage across the board.
and like and that this is I do have one gripe that and we might as well I like this game a lot, but what I found frustrating outside of that fucking coin, which we'll get to, is which we'll fucking get to. I had one fight, and it was actually against one of the 4 grandmasters, and it was an electric master, I think. So I brought a whole bunch of what did I bring? I don't remember what I brought now, but it's fighting Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
But then
and you got fucked by the Zapdos.
yes, that electric guy had like 4
Yeah.
Zapdos, which is an electric
Yeah.
Pokemon, but it's not weak to fighting. It's actually resistant to fighting.
Because it's flying.
Exactly.
And flying
so
resists fighting. Like
So it's blocking the first 30 HP of damage I'm doing, and I'm not getting anything strong enough to do more than 30 damage. So
yeah.
it's not hurting me because my Pokemon are resistant to lightning, but I'm not hurting it because its Pokemon are resistant to fighting, and we're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs. It was so obnoxious. And like, again, I don't even want to say that's a criticism because I get that just comes with the territory of the games. And I learned my lesson, and I rebuilt my deck to bring in a few Pokemon that weren't fighting so I could use them to deal with Zapdos, and I was fine. But fuck
and
me, dude.
those really, really long dirtly games don't happen that often.
No,
like
I probably
it does happen. Like I'm pretty good at deck building, I like to think, and I've still had just some games that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and it's just so tedious. And it's like playing chess when you're each down to like 3 pieces and you're just dancing around the board. It just goes forever. The one thing about that to keep in mind in this game, though, is if either player runs out of cards to draw, because at the beginning of your turn, you always draw 1 card. If you have no cards left to draw, you lose. And so I actually beat a couple of people in this game by them. I'm getting ahead of them in the card count. Like they have a lot fewer cards than I do. And I would just wait them out and just let them run out of cards.
That's another strategy. You just like wall them out with stuff like Chansey and Kangaskhan.
Yes.
Just big HP dudes, and you just chill and let them deck themselves out.
It just gets tedious. And I will say, if you're on the other end of that, where it looks like you're going to lose in that fashion, I wish this game had a forfeit option.
Yes.
Like, because there isn't one.
That's why I had to train myself to just save before every single battle.
Yeah. Because
just in case something goes off.
And it's not save scumming, because you can save in this game anytime you want, as long as you're not in a fight.
Yeah.
So
if I lose, I lose. Like,
same here.
I'll take a loss sometimes, but like it's more just like if it's gonna be a long, dirty game like that.
Yeah.
Then like I don't want to do it.
Yeah, dude.
But that one against that Grandmaster is like a very specific like gotcha moment, because you've played the whole game fighting as strong against electricity. I don't know if anybody has any Zapdoses. If they do, not many, so it's not really a card you encounter.
No, he has like 3 of them.
Yeah, and he runs a full play set of 2 or 3 different kinds of Zapdos.
Ugh.
Because each individual, it'll be like Zapdos level 68. That's a unique card. Zapdos level 42. That's a unique card. And so he's just got a fucking deck full of Zapdos, and you come in there with your full fighting team, and he's just like, get fucked.
Yeah, and the second time I fought him, what I did was I threw some executes and executors in my deck. Just to be like, there, I have something that I can use against this guy. And then I forgot to put some grass energy in my deck. And they need grass energy to attack. Yeah. And so I was still fucked anyways. I couldn't attack him anyways. And I was like, God damn it. Fuck you. I hate that guy. I hate him. And I fucking hate Ronald, your rival in this game. Because he beat me every time we fought until the end of the game.
Oh, dude. Honestly, he might be one of the strongest rivals in like the Pokemon
He
series.
fucks you up,
Like
man.
yeah, his deck, like it's good. Like it's definitely beatable if you know it's coming, but like for it being just a random, especially considering some of the shitty decks you play against,
Yeah.
like the club leaders have some pretty tuned decks, but some of the club members have some pretty bad ones.
Yeah.
But Ronald, he comes every time with a pretty fucking tuned deck.
Yeah, and
And like
even
you need to have made some upgrades pretty quick after I think you have to fight him after your first or second medal.
yeah, and
And it's like if
you don't know he's coming, and when you go to like a club to fight the club master, you know, like, oh, it's the fighting club master. It's probably got a lot of fighting Pokemon. I'm gonna bring some psychic to fuck this guy up, right? Like, but
yeah,
Ronald just has whatever the fuck he wants, and so
yeah,
you're like, I didn't beat him until the end of the game. I didn't beat him once. He fucking handed me my ass every
yeah.
time. Fuck him.
And he gives you unique cards when you beat him. So
That's what I
if you
heard.
lose, yeah, if you lose to him, you can't even 100% the game. But
Fuck
I
it. I
mean,
think
regular you can't anyways because there's like this card pop thing that you can't do. Um, it just used the little IR sensors on the Game Boy Colors, and you just like basically just tap the Game Boys together, and you each get a card.
oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it had that had like the one or two unique cards that were specifically for the game that weren't made based off paper ones, and that
Right.
is the only way you can get them.
Yeah, I didn't go for the 100. I think I ended the game with like 201 or something of the
Oh yeah.
226. And I was like, I'm done. Like this, I enjoyed the shit out of it. Like I guarantee you I will play this game again. I
Mhm.
loved it.
It has
But
great replay value too.
sure. Pick a
Back
different
to
deck, try
comparing
different
it to
types.
yeah,
Yeah.
back to comparing it to the original Pokemon. Like, yeah, Pokemon's replayable. Like you can always mix up your party, but it's like you don't really get that freedom right away like you do in this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like your three starter decks and friends, like they're fairly similar,
Yeah.
but like you can change that deck pretty quickly
Yeah.
and start doing different things with it, and it
Yeah.
just feels different. And you go just the way you explore the game, it's way more, it's all completely like open world. Like you just choose whatever order you want to fight the club masters in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a little Mega Man to it. Although, like, I
Yeah,
did find it
yeah, I
just
guess more Mega Man than open world.
yeah, I did find it just like a hint annoying when I would go to fight like the fighting boss, whatever the fuck, and he's like,
Mm,
"Oh, you can't fight me till you find my three proteges." So then I'm going
yeah,
around to the clubs and I have to just find three random dipshits standing around and beat them, and then go back and be like, "Oh, that was the three fight." There's a couple
yeah,
of them like most of them will just fight you whenever you get there, but a couple of them you have to go and do something else first
yeah.
to get
It
them to
was
fight
weird
you.
that there was no consistency with it. Like I
None.
get it, like that was I get the gym puzzle, but it's like some of them didn't have a gym puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess
Yeah, it was.
there's usually one gym that isn't usually very puzzly. It's just like a fight everything kind of gym, but like there
Yeah,
was more than one of those.
yeah.
Like
Not
there's more,
minor
yeah, and
complaint, just a little bit of a
yeah,
nuisance, if
yeah,
anything.
and then like there's I think the water medal can you get right away?
That was the first one I got. Yeah. All you have to do is
Yeah.
fight all of her like
Oh yeah, yeah. You
lackeys
have
and
to
then
fight
she'll
all their
fight you.
lackeys. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's one of the is it the psychic? Maybe it's the psychic one or the science one that you have to have a couple medals first before you can go fight
Yeah,
him.
he's like that was the second last one I got because every time I would go to fight him,
Yeah.
he's like standing in the corner and he wouldn't turn around and look at me.
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I must have to do something. And that ended up being the second
Yeah.
last one I got before the fighting
Yeah,
guy.
but like those are like so it kind of it's not like fully you can pick any of the eight, but like for the most part, it kind of tries the way I think the way they do it like that is so that you don't just like take your starter deck and run to go fight the psychic guy with the Alakazam deck that'll just stomp you. Like it kind of tries to gear you to go towards one of the decks or like one of the clubs that your deck would be strong against.
All right, sorry about that, everybody. Some little technical difficulties that I'm now competent enough at my job to fix after 276 fucking episodes. Thank fuck.
You did
The
it.
only two things I had left written down that I really wanted to get to, Keegs, were favorite cards, which I want to save because that's a positive,
Mhm.
and that motherfucking coin, which I want to get into now because it's a
Oh
negative.
man, that fucking coin.
If So if you've never played it, the only part of the game I think we haven't touched on at all is a lot of parts of the game are just dependent on a coin flip. They can be like if you have an attack that might cause confusion,
Yeah.
then you have to flip a coin to see if they are confused. And then if your Pokemon gets confused, whenever you go to attack, you have to flip a coin. And if you get heads, you land your attack. If you get tails, you hurt yourself. Well, you've all been there. There's all kinds of cards and things that do this kind of shit with coins. And listen, Keegs, between me and you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that coin's fucking rigged.
Yes, it is 100% rigged. It's been proven that it's rigged.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
That rig, like I don't mean to go all
like
Alex
in
Jones
in two
here,
different
but
ways it's rigged. So like it's rigged in its odds. Its odds aren't actually 50-50 if I'm remembering correctly. That like, everybody digs into games. Like so yeah, like people were taking a look into the mechanics of the game and it's not quite 50-50. Like it tries, I don't know how it tries to balance it, but it's also where it writes it with the random number generator. Like you
yeah,
can't,
I read something about that
where
too.
it saves it, you can't like save scums because like it'll like you can like auto save in battles and like go back and retry a turn, but that coin is always going to be like where it predetermines is before you even select the move that will require you to flip the coin on that turn.
Yeah.
Like any coin flips, like any potential coin flips get written at the start of your turn, I'm pretty sure. Like
Right.
it's
And I
it's
believe that.
super weird on the positioning. Like I get it why they did it but like they don't try and stop save scumming elsewhere. So it seems weird that it's just in that one spot with coin flips.
Yeah. Oh, those coins too, like fuck me. You'll get into like an attack where like which Pokemon is it? It might be
Yeah,
Executor. I know how to say
Executor
it.
has one of those ones that can shoot like I think 8 times. I think its egg bomb can go off.
It's something like every power it has attached to it, it does like or energy, it does one more attack or something.
Yeah.
And they're all coin flips. And I was fighting a
Oh,
guy who had 8 on it and
yeah.
it flipped like 7 out of 8 heads.
Yeah.
And just wrecked me. And I was like, the fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
I had it.
And I know like that can happen once, but like that happens all the time
Yeah.
in this game.
I frequently would get wrecked by a Kangaskhan that it has. I
Yes.
think it has the same one where it can. Is it Kangaskhan? There's something else that attacks, and
No,
every time it hits, you just flip again, and it keeps hitting until you lose a flip. And like,
Oh, I don't think that was because I used Kangaskhan a lot. I don't
yeah,
remember.
maybe
I
it
don't think it
wasn't
had that attack.
Kangaskhan,
But
but I
yeah,
don't remember what it was.
no,
then,
you
but
can get
fuck,
fucked.
yeah, there's
It's
sometimes where the
so
computer, they'll hit every poison and paralysis flip, every confusion flip. They'll nail them in a battle, and you'll get fucked on every single one of them.
yeah.
Yeah, that one where it keeps flipping and attacking every time until you lose. Like I've been hit like where it has like 3 times overkilled my Pokemon. Like, yeah,
It
I
can be
think it's
so
dead.
infuriating.
Stop,
Like,
he's already dead.
he's already dead. Yeah, the fucking coin, man. I will say too, like, is that compared to the real tabletop? Like, I assume the real tabletop version, is it as reliant on coin flips? I assume this is like a pretty accurate port. Minus the fact that the coin's not rigged in real life.
There's definitely decks that do coin flips still, but it's definitely it's not as prevalent.
Yeah.
Prevalent.
Yeah. That was
in the game
that
today.
was
As
the
far as I
one
remember, I've only played a little bit of it like these days. Like I
Sure.
jump in on the online version on my computer like every once in a while just for a few games, but I don't see as many coin flips as in like the old base set.
That was the one thing that irritated me about it. And the thing about it is like on the topic of just having to use a coin, I have limited criticism of that because I don't know what other choice there is for stuff like, oh, whether or not you're confused. Who do you hit when you're confused?
Yeah.
I can live with the fact that they had to go to the coin or like rolling a dice or something like that. My criticism is just with the fact that I'm like, if that coin is legit, I am the least lucky person in the world. That's where my criticism comes in. That coin can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Also, fuck you, Ronald.
Yeah.
But mostly fuck that coin.
Fuck Ronald, fuck the coin.
Yes.
What are your
Feels
thoughts
good
on
to get that.
Imakuni then?
I did fight Imakuni once. I found that random guy
Yeah.
and I beat the shit out of him.
Okay. Do you like his character?
I don't know if he's supposed to be tough.
No, he's weird. He
I don't
can
know.
be. Like his deck is just weird. It does weird
Yeah,
stuff.
I just found him weird.
Did
Yeah,
he cast his card on you at all when you battled him?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, oh no,
I
you'll
beat him
remember
handedly and he
because
left.
the card doesn't do anything. It's a
Oh
card with
yes, he
him. Yeah,
did do
it's a
that.
card with him on it, and
Yes,
all it does is make his Pokemon confused.
yes, he did
Yeah,
use some card that didn't seem to do anything.
yeah,
I was like, the
it
fuck
makes
was that?
his Pokemon confused.
Okay, yes, I did run into
Yeah,
Imakuni. Yes.
he's. I think
Uh,
he's like a real guy, like based on a real guy.
yeah, yeah. I thought it was cool. Like I like the name, and that it ends in a question mark and shit was neat.
Yeah,
But like
strange
I
life
ran into
form
him and started.
Imakuni.
Yeah, I ran into him and started battling him, and I was like, oh, I'm probably about to get wrecked. But and then I just like manhandled him, and I was like, the
Yeah,
fuck was that?
like I.
And then he just left. Like, all
Yeah,
right.
I think he tooled me a couple times when I was a kid, but yeah, he
Mhm.
mostly just anytime I fight him in repeat playthroughs, it seems that he just spams his card until I beat him.
Right. And don't take me saying that I beat Imakuni as a flex cuz like I said I lost to the tutorial guy 3 times. So, not a flex that I beat Imakuni. I just did. So the only things I have left in my notes are favorite cards and just quickly before we get into the favorite cards cuz that's the part I want to talk about.
Mhm.
I have to just say, buddy, this is this is probably now my favorite Game Boy soundtrack.
Oh yeah, the music
It's
gets pretty
really good.
repetitive, but it's really good.
Yeah, I never turned the sound off,
Yeah,
and, like
it
yeah, the music in this game
slaps.
is
Like
really good.
it's one of those ones where like the loops are kind of shorter, but it's still good the whole way through.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's great. Like, you'll have already heard some of it. You're gonna hear more of it in a few minutes. I love the music. I love the music. I love the graphics because from when you're not in a battle, it looks like a classic Pokemon
Yeah,
game, and when you are in a
for
battle, you
Game
get to see the
Boy,
artwork from the
yeah, for
cards
Game
and
Boy,
reading
they
about them and stuff.
recreated that artwork pretty fucking well for
Yeah,
the
I think
fucking
the
Game Boy.
cards look
Like,
great.
yeah, like,
Yeah. Frankly, the car like the images of the Pokemon in this game from the cards look exponentially better than the actual Pokemon sprites in Pokemon Red and Blue
oh
did.
yeah, leagues.
Like
Yeah,
it's
those
night and
those
day.
original sprites. Yeah, they got a
Oh,
lot of work done on the 2 years in between this and the
yeah, yeah, they
TCG.
sure did.
Yeah, I think this came
They're
out right
heinous.
before Gold and Silver. Then I don't know.
I would
I don't.
assume so.
Yeah, I don't fucking care.
Um yeah, now we're talking too deep for me.
Yeah,
Before we end this thing and score it, I just want to know. I have a few picks, but I've talked a lot. What favorite cards? Do you have
I
some? I have
do.
a few that I want
Yeah.
to shout
Well,
out.
because I think when you were asking me about decks earlier, you wanted me to kind of like give you a little sneak. What deck do I like to play?
Yeah,
And
what do you
it's
like?
I run a bunch of guys that don't evolve because evolving is slow and stupid and usually never works. So I run a Scyther and a Hitmonchan and an Electabuzz, and then just like a whole mess of trainers to just like a few Pokeballs, some Professor Oaks, some Bills to just draw cards, just draw through my deck as much
Yeah.
as I need so I can keep my bench always full, and then just whichever one of those three guys, like the deck works against any other deck, just you just pick one of the three as a type matchup, and then just giver. And
I like it.
their moves are pretty cheap. Scyther's is a little more expensive, but because it's colorless, you just give them a green energy and then a double colorless, and
That's
yeah,
nothing. Yeah.
and a little
If it's
combo
colorless, it's
wombo.
pretty
You give
easy.
them a green
Yeah.
energy, use focus energy, and then turn two double colorless energy and use slash for 60 damage
Yeah.
regular, and
Yeah.
then if it's weak to grass, you're killing whatever you're attacking basically.
Oh yeah, it's messing because
So
like I think the maximum health something can have is
I think
160.
160,
Yeah, because it
160 or
looking at the
120. There's
screen, it
a
looks like
few that have
160.
120. I can't remember if anything had 160 back then.
Yeah. So I always rolled with either a Kangaskhan or a Chansey in my deck,
Hmm.
and if I drew them first, they were out right away.
Hmm.
And I don't even care if they ever do any damage, but like they have 80 or 100 some health.
I
And
think Kangaskhan's got 90 and Chansey's one of those 120s.
yeah, and they can just sit out there and take a beating. And the best part is you put any single energy on Kangaskhan, and then on his turn you can draw an extra
Yeah,
card.
yeah, his fetch
And it
ability
doesn't
is
even matter that
great.
he can attack.
Yeah.
You just leave him out there to take a beating, and while he's taking a beating, you're souping up your bench and getting everyone
Yeah.
ready. So I'd always roll with them. I also quite liked Electabuzz. I don't know why. That thing was just a beast.
He's one of
Electabuzz
my
is a
favorite Pokemon from that gen, and all three of those happen to be three of my favorites from Gen 1 as well. So it was like,
Oh, is
it's
that
really
right?
cool
Yeah.
that they were also just fantastic cards from the base set.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't remember. I think it's Hitmonlee. One of them can kick a Pokemon that's on the other team's
yeah,
bench.
there's a few. Yeah, I think his high jump kick can hit the bench. There's a few
Yeah, and
Pokemon
it's
that can hit the bench with stuff. Some of the electric
yeah, I had a
Pokemon.
Pikachu that could shock the
Yeah,
bench too.
yeah, it's a big thing with
But
electric Pokemon, but
yeah, but I really liked Hitmonlee because I would just like I didn't even care how strong the Pokemon you had out was. I'd knock out some of your like unevolved 30, 40 HP one on your
mhm.
bench and just steal some. And I know you mentioned the evolutions are a pain in the ass, which I agree with, but dude, Alakazam,
Oh
if you can
yeah,
get one on your bench,
Alakazam is
it has a
dope.
power. If you don't know, if you never played the game, a select few Pokemon have powers that you can use either once or basically
It's
on their
called
turns,
just
and
Pokemon Power, I think, right?
Pokemon power. And Alakazam's every turn, you can open up your roster of the Pokemon that's fighting and the 5 that are on your bench and just move damage amongst them however you
Yeah.
want. And
Venusaur
so
lets you
like,
move energy between them.
oh, there was one fight where I got my Alakazam out, and then it was absolutely ridiculous. I don't remember what I had fighting, but it was just killing everyone. And then every turn it would take some damage, and then on my turn, you don't even have to have the Alakazam in your fighting slot.
Yeah.
It's just on your bench. Use its power, take all its damage off, and dump it on a Kangaskhan on the bench, and go back to
Yeah,
fighting again.
that's actually another deck that I play sometimes. Is yeah,
Oh, he was
Kangaskhan's
massive. I couldn't
Chanseys
believe
to
it.
just dump stuff off of Alakazam. And then
Yeah.
Alakazam can also hit for some pretty good damage on his own,
Oh
I
yeah,
believe.
like I'm a psychic guy through and through. Like,
Yeah.
because everyone knows in
Oh,
Pokemon Red and Blue,
oh,
psychic Pokemon are
it's
OP as
yeah,
fuck.
like it was
Um,
very strong, and then also some of the mechanics were broken and it was even
yeah,
stronger.
yeah. So I was a big user of Alakazam, and then actually just quickly out of the trainer cards, I gotta say I was a huge fan of the Gambler card.
Yeah, Gambler's fun, but
Like that thing
fucking
saved my ass
coin,
multiple
that
times.
fucking coin has fucked me too many times on Gambler. I don't
Ugh.
run it anymore. I'd rather
It,
have Bill and Professor Oak.
I like Bill and Oak too. If you've never used it, the Gambler card, when you play it, you shuffle your current hand back into your deck, which is the advantage of it over Oak,
Yeah.
because Oak, if I'm not mistaken, you discard everything you're
Yeah,
holding.
usually my hand's already
Gambler,
pretty
you put them
empty by
back.
the time, like when I play a Professor Oak, my hand usually only has like a couple energy left in it,
Yeah,
or an extra
exactly.
copy of a Pokemon I don't need. Like it's the deck
Right.
has no fat
Um,
on it. It's just
yeah.
four copies of each of those three Pokemon, and then just trainers to find them.
Yeah.
As they
When
are
you
strong
when
enough
you
that you
use
don't
the
really risk dying on like right away if it's by itself and your bench is empty. So you can kind of
yeah.
use that. You'll shuffle till you have at least one basic Pokemon to your advantage. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's probably not going to die right away. You might not get any backup
Totally.
right away, but it's probably not going to die in the first hit or two.
You'll keep it alive,
Yeah.
yeah. The that Gambler card, you shuffle your hand back into your deck and then flip a coin, and if you get heads, you draw 8 cards. If you get tails, you draw 1.
Ugh.
And it has fucked me before. I've never, but the thing about it is I wouldn't say it has fucked me, because I've only ever used it when I'm already fucked and I need that Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And so if I miss, I'm like, well, I was fucked anyway. That's why I used the
Yeah,
card.
I guess.
And if it hits, it saved me multiple times.
Mhm.
So I fucking
I guess I've never really
I
gone
love
full
this
Hail
game.
Mary when I've played it. It's always been like,
Yeah.
this hand kind of sucks. Let's gamble it and try and find something
Uh
better. And then I get fucked and get like one energy that I don't need.
it's It's such a fun game. Listen, I know some of you are going to write in and be like, "Oh, I can't believe they didn't mention this
Oh,
glitch or this
I didn't mention
thing."
the ratio for your evolved Pokemon. Yes, I said earlier they suck. It's hard to get them good because you need to have all of them. But basically, to help draw and enough that you need, you usually go one less of each of the higher stages.
Yeah, I did that
Yeah, so
too.
you go like 4
Yeah.
Abras, 3 Kadabras, 2 Alakazams. Or
Yeah,
a
I
three two
was with
one
the
is another one
yeah,
that's
I was
common.
rolling like 3-2-1 or 4-2-1.
Yeah.
Cuz that was really like the only outside of that coin fucking me, the only time I ever really found that I got fucked, and I don't even think it's a criticism of the game, it's just bad luck. This could happen.
Yeah.
Is I would draw a Pokemon that I could put out to start, and I just wouldn't hit anymore. And then that one would get knocked out before I happened to draw another
Yep.
Pokemon. And it didn't happen very often, because I learned to make sure I had enough, or at least had some items in my hand that I could use to get another Pokemon out.
Yep.
But once in a while, just bad
Yep.
draws, and you just either
That's baseball.
you draw a handful of Pokemon and get no energy, or you draw a handful of energy with no Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it just that's just luck of the draw when it comes. I play poker
Yeah.
sometimes.
Poker,
it's a bad
Magic,
hand.
it happens in every fucking card
Yeah.
game. Like
Exactly.
the amount of times
So,
I'll just draw a handful of spells and no lands in Magic, or the opposite, like all the fucking time.
yeah.
Like doesn't
So I
matter
won't
how good I
criticize it for
build my
that.
deck, like it just happens once in a while. That's
Yeah.
random chance.
I just you just learn.
Yeah.
You just learn to deal with it.
Thankfully, the mulligan rules in this game are pretty forgiving. Most card
Oh,
games, if you have to ditch
Yeah.
your opening hand, you get one less card to start with.
Yeah, this one's like, just try again.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're all friends here. I love it. I love this game. Listen, I've seen the messages from so many of you saying I need to play the sequel that never came here, that there's fan translated ones. Y'all know I'm not very tech savvy. I hate dealing with emulators and ROMs and shit like that. I like this one enough that at some point I might try to track down the second one to play it. I'm not in a huge hurry to do so, though. I honestly might do another playthrough of this at some point.
Yeah.
If I missed something, I'm sorry. We're already over an hour. We're gonna wrap this up. I just genuinely really, really enjoyed this video game.
Yeah.
This is a great game, man.
Yeah, I've only played a bit
So
of the
much fun.
sequel. I didn't like it as much, but maybe I just got to give it a better shake.
Yeah, I don't know. People keep telling me
Yeah.
to play it,
Like,
but I'm like, I don't know.
It's got more, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Like this game's got plenty of good Pokemon in it already. Like,
yeah,
I don't need more.
That's why.
Scythe,
That's why I don't like most modern games, because I like less is more.
Yeah, they
I
basically
already can't
doubled
keep
the
track
card
of 200
count.
Pokemon.
Yeah, they nearly doubled the card count for the sequel.
Yeah, that seems.
But they also
fucking
doubled the
I can
amount
barely
of
keep track as it
masters.
is.
You have to fight 16 battle masters apparently, because there's a second island you go to.
Now, well, never mind. I was gonna say, like, I'm a little shocked we haven't gotten more games like this, but there's minimal money to be made in a Game Boy game like this, or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, their focus now is on the actual games where they can sell you packs and micros in real life.
Well, you have the
like
digital version of the card game as a service
Exactly.
instead of as standalone games. Like Magic's the same way.
Exactly.
There's Magic Online and Magic the Gathering Arena now, but there is a few video games out there that are same thing. Little pocket time of this is what Magic was like then. Play some Magic the Gathering. You'd probably like a couple of those.
I tried Magic back in the day, and I got fucking destroyed every time I tried playing it, and I was like, I'm not smart enough for this.
Well, no, that's what I mean though, like one of the video games. So it's just
I might have
the
to try
same
one of
thing.
the video games.
You start weak, and so does the game, and then you just get stronger instead of. Well, I hope this random person I'm playing against doesn't fucking stomp me.
Yeah, and I think that's why this game clicked with me, was because there was no going up against some super fan that had this like jack deck full of steroids that massacred me. It was just me playing his computer at my own pace, and it was fun. I don't think we're gonna get many more of these, because I think obviously their focus now is on the ones where they can sell you packs and make infinite money. I get it, but I implore you, if you're listening to this and you like Pokemon, you like card games, or you just like good video games, it's on the Nintendo Switch Online. Give it a chance. I went from the very first time I played it being like, I don't know if we're gonna review this or not. I'm not very good at this. To just this game took over my life for about a week. I loved this game. Yeah, I could not stop playing this fucking game. So, we got to score this thing.
And it's on the basic Nintendo Switch Online too, right? Not the expansion pack. Is this Game Boy?
Yeah, the Game Boy comes with the basic one, so it's $20 a year, for fuck's sake.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it sure is. What's scored out of 226? There's 226 cards. That makes sense. So, Keegs, the floor is yours. Out of 226 cards, how many cards would you give Pokemon Trading Card Game?
Carry the 3.
Are you counting the cards?
Yeah. Carry the 3 minus divide square root. I'll give it 223 out of 226.
What cost it 3 cards?
That fucking coin?
Yeah. You're like, I was going to give it 226, but I flipped a coin and it lost.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
The coin, the not being able to swap your cards between decks. Like that combined with the like not being able to leave the deck if it's not full. Like that whole the whole deck building clunkiness, and then the clunkiness of the UI in the actual battles, it's not as bad for me anymore because I know all the cards. But like when you're trying to learn the game, it is very front end heavy of learning it, and it's not the easiest to constantly go to check and move around to each. It's pretty easy considering, but it's still kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna give it like 200 or so. There was a couple of things like the coin is rigged as shit. Ronald fucking sucks. Um, Other than that though, like I really like I'd give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10 if we were on a regular scale. I just really enjoyed playing this. It was just a lot of
Hmm.
fun. I I would sit here right now and argue that like outside of Slay the Spire, this is probably my new favorite card video game that I've ever played. Or well, no, Marvel's Midnight Suns might
Yeah.
be ahead of it, but it's top three anyways. It's a really fun game, and
Yeah.
I'm really seriously telling you, you don't have to be. I'm not. You don't have to be a diehard Pokemon fan to like
Yeah.
it. You don't
Either.
need know had no. You don't need to know how to play it to like it because I didn't. I knew nothing of it when I went in, and I just genuinely really enjoyed
Yeah.
myself. Man, it's a fun
Yeah, you're
game.
not the target demo at all. You're not a huge Pokemon
No,
fan. You don't play card games.
I'm
Like,
kind of dumb,
yeah,
uh, and it clicked for me.
yeah.
So
Reading is hard,
yeah, yeah,
and as
exactly.
everybody knows, reading
It's
the card explains the card.
it's fucking bullshit that my goddamn Bulbasaur doesn't do extra damage to the things I think it's gonna do damage to,
Well,
but
that's because
they
he's
had to
Bulbasaur
nerf
and he
Bulbasaur.
sucks.
They had to nerf
They're
him
just
because
like,
he's
oh,
OP.
he already sucks,
So
so might as well just leave
oh
him.
oh, sorry. Just before we leave, quick shout out to I still don't know how to say it. Gyarados, whatever
Gyarados.
the fuck. The evolved
Yeah.
Magikarp. I used one time because as much as I love my precious Magikarp, that thing is basically a waste of a
Yeah, yeah.
card in your deck. But when you do manage to evolve it, that evolved thing is pretty fucking
Yeah.
badass. It's
And
just
the
a
art
bitch to
is
get it
cool.
there.
Like, ripping
Exactly.
one of those out of
It's
a
just
pack back in the day. Oh,
uh,
yeah,
I've always had such a soft spot in my heart for Magikarp. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know why. I don't even like
He
fish
reminds
very
you of
much. I just like that
yourself.
stupid
He's
fish.
just this
Maybe
little
I am a Magikarp.
thing that's just trying its best.
I am a
Except you
Magikarp.
don't.
I'm life's
You're
Magikarp.
you're holding an Everstone, so you're never gonna
Word.
evolve. You're just stuck a Magikarp for
Oh,
life.
and just so that I get the wrath as we leave, fuck Eevee. I hate that thing. I hate most of the evolved EVs. I don't use them.
Yeah, Eevee's
I hate it.
Eevee's not great in this game. I'll
Now,
say it.
Eevee's not good in any form of Pokemon, and I don't give a fuck.
Uh,
Come at me. I don't give a shit. Fuck Eevee. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear like,
I don't know.
oh, if you evolve it into
Jolteon's pretty fucking good.
Dildoeon, it's pretty good. No, fuck
Jolteon's
off.
pretty
It's like
fucking
a
good.
crappy fox.
Jolteon's pretty
I don't
fucking
care.
good. It's one of the fastest Pokemon in
Fuck
the
you.
game.
Fuck you,
One of
Eevee.
the fastest Pokemon in the game.
Keegs.
One of the fastest Pokemon in
No,
the
I don't
game.
care. I won't move off it. Give me a chancey.
You won't be able to catch it. It's too fast.
Fuck it. I hate that fucking thing. Keegs,
Jolteon
good
is a
talking to
cute
you, buddy.
little
Thanks for
lightning dog.
no. Fuck that. Then just
It's
give
a
me a
puppy.
goddamn Electabuzz. He's
Oh,
cute
he's
in his
cool.
own
He's
way.
not cute. He's cool.
He's got
Elekid
a
is
nice
cute.
fuzzy belly.
Elekid is cute.
No.
Electabuzz is just like an edgy teenager. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Electabuzz looks like if Barty Gumble was a Pokemon.
I don't care for Electivire though, but Electabuzz and Magmar,
Anyway,
those are my boys.
Magmar's pretty dope. I
Magmortar,
like that Magmar looks like
yeah.
it's got a Magmar's brain is like outside of his head.
Yeah.
And I like
Magmortar
that.
is
I've
growing
always
on
been
me.
Team Magmar.
Yeah, I don't care for Magmortar as much and Electivire, but they're both kind of growing on me since.
Maybe I'm remembering this wrong because I didn't watch the show religiously back in its day. Did Magmar not fight Charizard once in like a volcano or something?
That sounds right.
I think it did, and if it did, I think that's why I'm looking it up
Because
now
isn't
quickly
that
before we
in
leave.
Pokemon Snap? Isn't that how you get Charizard in Pokemon Snap? You have to hit the Magmar with the apple, and then it breathes fire on the Charmeleon, knocks it into the volcano, and it comes out.
Oh Christ! Now you're over my head. Now I don't know, but I did look it up, and yes,
I
in
think
the
it's
cartoon,
the Magmar that
Magmar
does
fought
that.
Charizard
Yeah.
once.
I think it.
And fuck Charizard, Magmar won.
Yeah, like you have to
I don't know
knock
if
the
it did, but it should've
Charmeleon
won.
into the volcano to evolve it in Pokemon and Snap, but I don't know if it's via a Magmar. I feel like it is, but I don't know. Somebody will yell at
Magmar.
us.
Yeah. Oh fuck! People are gonna
Ping
be
us
losing their
in,
shit right
ping
now.
us in the
Magmar.
Discord. Whoever listens to this
Yeah.
first, ping me in the
Yeah.
Discord. How
Yeah,
you
yell
get
at us. Okay,
Charizard in Pokemon Snap?
We're leaving. Keegs, thank you for doing this. I am gonna say something and then I'm gonna click end recording. I just want to get something out there so that everybody can fucking yell at me, and then that's it. So Keegs, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it, buddy. And just quickly, Eevee sucks. Charmander sucks. Bulbasaur better. Magikarp better than Charmander. Squirtle is okay, but he's just a moody, shitty Ninja Turtle. And Snorlax is an abomination, and I fucking hate it. That's it. That is going to do it for this week's episode. Keegs, thank you so much. God damn it, I still haven't gotten good at this. For giving me a call and talking the Pokemon trading card game, and every single one of you hot doggy dogs listening to this right now, whether this was your first Remember the Game or your 276th or some other random number, I appreciate you so much. If it happened to be your 69th, nice. Thank you for listening. If you like this show, leave us a nice review, would you? We've been getting some nice reviews lately, and they make me feel good about myself. Every time I take off my shirt and look at myself in the mirror, I need to read some of your reviews for the pick-me-up. So thank you very much for those. And if you want more of these, consider helping us keep the bills on at Patreon. Patreon.com/RememberTheGame. Subscriptions start at just $3 a month. It's like 75 cents a week. And you get up to technically you get 2 additional shows a week for $3 or 4 additional shows a week for $5 a month. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Tons of shows. Hundreds upon hundreds of shows waiting for you over there. They're all ad-free. Something for everybody. You can add them all to your favorite podcast service. You actually can add the Patreon feed as its own podcast on Spotify and just listen to them all there. It's fucking pretty nice. So you can check that out. Plus you can write into the show, DM with me, all the other good things. Patreon.com/RememberTheGame. I have Twitch, twitch.tv/RememberTheGame. Whenever I feel like getting on there, throw me a follow and you'll be able to come by and say hi. I have a P.O. box. Don't send me anything big. Just send me a card, a letter, something nice. Tell me where you're listening. I'll write back. We'll be friends. I am slow to write back, but I do it. So write me. I'll write you back. You can find that at rememberthegamepodcast.com. And I'm on Cameo. I'm not very good at doing them, but if you look for Adam Blank on Cameo, you'll find me on there. I think that's it. I think that's enough of an episode. I'm going to get out of here, take my dog for a walk, and play some more Star Wars Shadows of the Empire to get ready for next week's episode. Hopefully that happens. That's the goal. And don't forget, if you're a patron, come back tomorrow for Expansion Pass 189, where we will look at the original PlayStation. And I'm actually going to move Game Patch this week to Friday afternoon instead of first thing Friday morning, so that I have time to write up about the stuff that breaks at the Game Awards Thursday, and I will be adding those to the Game Patch news. All right? Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here. You are all the best, minus one of you, and you know who you are, and I will talk to you on the next one. Cheers. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to thank them as quickly as possible. So a huge thank you to Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, Andre, The Keegs, James Clark, Dave McGee, Dan of DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Dorn, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Fraser Burns, Little Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Jeff Bergeron, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Randy Barrett, Just a Fish, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed D's Nuts Galaxy, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Ballsack, Teabagger, Frosty Feet 492, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, It's That Nerd James, Madam Nudisich, I still don't know how to fucking say that one, DBXJ, Jamil Williams, Steve Dulk, Mizuru, Juris, Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Eric James, Nick Amos, Mega Mav, Thomas Childs, Biddy, Laces Out Dan, Beaver Boy, C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola, Leroy Westrich, Rush's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Matt Babanu, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon, Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hagel Waffle, K-Atch, Jimothy, I'm really bad at this. K-Atch, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardner, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof. I cancel my Netflix to afford this shout out. I like that. Max Lagroom, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Franklin Badge, Drugs are bad, okay. Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Nerdy Hybrid, The Fletchman, Colin Bollinger, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Woomph, 15, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Radioactive Man, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, John M. Watkins, Timothy Sabrinsky, Beef Dingleberry, Hitchy Poo, Chevy Boy 9211, Burt Macklin, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Maverick, Bobby Litton, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Kia Pup, Wheel of Fish. I'm so used to just doing this on autopilot. I'm so bad at my job. AB Killen, Works for Me, Alexander Camps, Neil Cooper, Tom Houlihan, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Lucas Valadez, Itchy Nutsuru, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Just Car Prank, Solomon Soto, Rated X, Int, Darth Skywalter, Postman, WestGen, Nick Creature, Youngster TK, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, This MF, all wrapped up in a soft warm flour tortilla. Beers of War, Because 19, Digital Dave, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Longrod, Von Hugendon II, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Max Sandin, Sour Goatface, Alex Ramos, Faded Suffrage, Benjamin Atkins, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Chris Hill says Long Live Prince Mallow. Mellow Yellow 8787, B Money, Hired Goons, Who, It's OG, Tyler Bauer, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme, Choserizo, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Raging Irish, Atrio, Wormwood, Shoeboxers, Tornado, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air Guy Who Does Things, Sabin, Brian Richmond, Blobby Rogers, Glue Scappin, Bula, Matt Zeus, Buy Me Bone Storm, Plow King, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Billy and the Clonosaurus, Chaz Hammond, Elephant Cav, Scissor Fist, Big Daddy Randall, Ryan Whitcomb, Flinny123, Austin from Past to Present Player Podcast, Lord State Puffed, Johnny Zubu 81, AJ McKirji, Lotus, Philip Ramsey, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong. There's a voice crack right in the middle of that too. Alex McIntyre, S, Bearded Bastard, Adam Galaxy, still hasn't reviewed Mario Blank, Eric Hopewell, Clockwork, Orange These Nuts, Testickle, David Schroeder, Theodore, Chicken Gizzards, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, Wilco, VOS Rager, Captain Steve N, the Cardigan Wearing Wrestler, and Adam's new personal assistant. Note to my assistant, get someone better at doing these shout-outs for me so I don't have to do them anymore. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. I appreciate you. Take it easy. Cheers. Goodbye.